So thank you for showing up, everybody. This is a great night we have tonight. Sally DeCessory here with Your Blissful Journey and Alchemy of Healing membership. Tonight I have the pleasure of having an amazing speaker. Oh, but first let me remind you that what you'll hear tonight and every night when you get on a call with me, it's your choice whether you decide to move forward with it. I am not a doctor, and so I do not prescribe or diagnose. It's always up to you to make the choice if it's something you want to implement in your life. But tonight, I want to share first a story. And it's about what you're going to hear a little bit more about what our guest tonight is going to share. I often walk to a park that's near our house. It's a beautiful park. It's Monticello Park for those of you who live in Alexandria, and it's a warbler drop spot. So the warblers come in twice a year. It's lovely, and it's got a little stream and hills. And it seemed like a lot of trees were falling, and I was feeling a little distressed about what was happening with the park. I was a little worried about its longevity, what was going to happen. I couldn't imagine that there wouldn't be this beautiful, old forest, like an acre forest in the center of the city. And so I was walking to the park and I was practicing what you're going to be hearing about tonight. And I kept on saying, and it was kind of like became a mantra as I was walking to the park. And, I love to see like etheric creatures. I feel like there's another world that we don't always see. And for me, that is something I really want to see. And so that was also on my mind, how I'm walking towards the park and saying this mantra. And as I look over the park, what I see is an angel with its wings covering the park. And I knew it was going to be okay. It wasn't my problem. Everything was working out exactly the way it was supposed to work out. And the reason, it just really touched me. So that's how powerful this tool is that you're going to learn tonight. And I said the thing about I was focused on, I love to see that unseen world. But I believe that what you're going to also hear tonight has a different level to it for whoever is using it. Whatever you desire, kind of like however you like to get your information, I believe that this is a great tool that you can use in any capacity with comfort and with ease. So I am so excited to present our guest tonight. And I'm going to read this because I don't want to miss a beat. Tonight it is my pleasure to welcome and to share with you my mentor and friend, Nancy Matthews. Without her guidance through Women's Prosperity Network, which she founded with her two sisters, I wouldn't be here sharing with you tonight. Nancy has contributed to 11 bestsellers and authored 5 bestsellers on her own, with one of her books, The One Philosophy, coming out in its 3rd edition by the end of this month. That's 3 editions. That's really well done. Congrats, Nancy. And while Nancy brings her whole self to everything that she does, tonight, allow us to see the power behind the person who has built 2 successful businesses and helped scores of entrepreneurs build business and lives that they've only dreamed of. So welcome, Nancy, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, wow, that was a beautiful introduction. I am honored And really, it is my pleasure to be here. So, Sally, thank you so much for inviting me, for creating this space for me to talk about a part of me that I don't share a lot about. And I love how you said, the power behind the success. And it reminds me much of a book that you and I both enjoy called Power versus
Stop, Nancy. I'm sorry. I muted you by mistake. I was muting all
I'm,
and,
I'm good now.
oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Uh,
Did it again.
oh, okay, don't touch anything. You
You
can
can tell I'm a pro.
I've done those things myself, and you know what? So what? We're my
Right.
friends, so we're all imperfectly perfect, aren't we? Who else is imperfectly perfect here? Is it just me? Right? Um, so what I'm going to share with you tonight is called Ho'oponopono, and this is my go-to resource tool anytime that I'm feeling stressed, anxious, mad, disappointed, ticked off, frustrated, mad at myself, all of that crap that can happen. This is my go-to tool, and it works quickly, easily, and efficiently. I don't need to take any medications for it, none of that stuff. And my desire is to share with you about this practice, this prayer of Ho'oponopono tonight, so that you too can have something, in your spirit to call upon to connect you to spirit. And as I was getting ready for the conversation tonight, I know most of you, few of you, are meeting for the first time. So, Alva Mary, I think it's my first time, and Makiba, I haven't met before. Zalinda, I'm not sure that we've met before. So, it's a pleasure to be with you. And for those that know me, you probably see me as this very cool cucumber. How does she do so much? And she always stays calm. Does she ever get angry? Does she? You, Let me tell you, I don't normally get angry or too mad or too sad. And that, my friends, has come about after years and years of practice. When I was a single mom, all by myself with two small children, I screamed and yelled a whole bunch. I was mad at myself. I couldn't believe I did this and that. I was all kinds of blaming and self shaming was going on. When I married an alcoholic and drug addict who I thought was the love of my life, and then I went, what did I do? There was some frustration and anger. So I just want you to recognize that the woman you see today has been through all kinds of stuff, like many of you, and I did all kinds of counseling and group sessions and went to, codependent meetings and therapy and hypnosis and this and that, all to try to figure out what was wrong with me, all to discover there was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong in the first place. And that getting back to the core of who we really are, who we were born as, these beautiful divine beings, is the answer to everything. And what gets in the way of that is our busy mind chatter. So tonight we're going to talk about Ho'oponopono. I'm going to share some tips and tools and practices that you can use in your life. So let me go ahead and share my slides and we'll dive right in. Do we have any questions before I kick in? Let me double check on that. Any questions? Let me ask this. Who here has heard of Ho'oponopono? Anna, Pat. So tell me what you know about Ho'oponopono. Let's start with Anna. Thank you.
It's a Hawaiian practice, and it was used by a psychologist.
A psychiatrist, yeah.
So I know the whole backstory, and I've been using Ho'oponopono through several years.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Who else? How about Pat Rogers?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting me, Sally. Glad to be here. And well, I was introduced to Ho'oponopono by you. And I really liked it. I love it because it makes you stop and think
Mhm.
about the space that I am in at that moment, and knowing where I am was good is good, because then I'm like, I check myself. I'm like, uh-oh. And so then I read the prayer, and what the prayer does for me is, first of all, it allows me to forgive myself and give me space
Beautiful. I love that.
to
Good.
get through that moment.
Yeah.
And then God is involved, and that's just so heart-wrenching to be able to ask him, okay, God, I messed up again. I yelled, I let her piss me off. I let her get under my skin. Please forgive me. So
Mhm.
it allows me to just have that moment of prayer and forgiveness and gratitude.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love that. Thank you, Pat. I'm so glad you've embraced it so well. Beautiful. Pat Chin?
I was introduced to it by you, Nancy. And like Pat Rogers, my other namesake here, I use it to like exactly that, check myself when that moment, that emotion that you're in, and it just brings me right back down to calm.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love that. And tonight, I'm going to go deeper into Ho'oponopono than maybe we've gone before, and share some additional prayers that will support you in, any kind of recurring patterns you might see showing up in your life, in your attitude, or limiting beliefs. So I've got a really, really strong prayer to release that as well. So we'll go over that tonight. Beautiful. Denny, you know of Ho'oponopono as well.
I do. And I had the opportunity to actually get my son a session. He's 32 and he was able to use it on the golf course when he was pissed off at the guys he was golfing with.
Isn't
And it
that great?
was wonderful. Yeah, to share that. Yes.
Good, good, good. All right, good, excellent. And Kathy, this is your first hearing about Ho'oponopono? All right, well, don't worry about trying to say it, because it took me a really long time. For a while, I just like, oh, it's the hokey pokey. It works like magic. It's the hokey pokey. So don't worry about that. The essence of it will always work for you. So let me go ahead now and share my slides. And I'm just going to take you through a few things here. And there we go. So how to reduce worry, conflict, and angst in these fascinating times. And isn't it true that these times, this past year plus almost, has given us plenty to make us worry, feel in conflict, angst, and stress during these fascinating times. And while the last year was certainly extraordinary by very, very many measures, we'll have other things that are going to show up. Like, problems never stop. It's just how we deal with them that we can put a stop to. So tonight, as we go through this, here are my intentions: to, number one, give you these tools so that you can create peace and calm in the most challenging of times. Number two, to be able to release emotional triggers that set you off, like that person on the golf course or whoever it is, so that you become response able. So able to respond rather than just being reactionary, because that doesn't feel good for you or the other people you're with. And then number three is to be able to access the divine source of love and inspiration so that you experience what is right and perfect for you. And for those of you that I'm just getting to meet, and as well as the ones who know me, part of the reason I so was attracted to Ho'oponopono is it aligns with one of the principles from my book, The One Philosophy. It aligns with many of them, but there's one that it really gives us the opportunity to go deeper on. So I want to share the principles of the One Philosophy, and just so you have a framing of it. And the One Philosophy, we actually have one of my certified trainers here. Pat Rogers is a certified trainer for the One Philosophy. And the One Philosophy is, yes, a better life for you and humanity. It's about treating each and every person you meet as the one, with that same level of excitement, enthusiasm, and attention that we tend to do when we think we're in the presence of someone who's the one, the next best client, your future spouse, the person who's going to get some kind of connection or hookup for you. I have always believed that when I meet somebody, there's some synchronicity, there's some magic in that moment. And I believe that for a very, very long time, that there's always something to learn or something for me to teach. But when you show up, whether you're at the restaurant, the gas station, the networking event, here tonight, when you show up and see every single person as the one, remembering everyone has value, and you feel that love. Maya Angelou says people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. So treating everyone you meet as the one elevates them, makes them light up. They feel relaxed and safe and secure. In business, it creates a space for people to share what they really want because they feel you really do care about them. In your family, they recognize they feel cherished by you. And isn't that what we all want? So what happens and how we heal humanity through the one philosophy is when you treat someone as the one, you now become the one that reminds them that they matter and they have value, which is what we're all seeking. Every human being is seeking this sense of belonging. They want to know that they matter. And with the principles of the one philosophy, when you live these 6 principles on a daily basis, your life will transform. People will open up to you like never before, and you'll feel that connection. It allows the universe to conspire in your favor. So let me share the 6 principles quickly, and then you'll get the book when it comes out on February 25th. So to be the one, what does it really take for us to treat everyone we meet as the one? Well, first of all, it's about talking less and listening more and being fully present. I mean, really listening. So when you meet somebody or you're in a conversation, don't be thinking about what you're going to say next. Be fully present. Trust and allow that you'll know exactly what to say. The second piece of it is to hold and hone and share your vision. Because imagine you've got this vision, this dream, this big goal that you want to achieve. And you're at a restaurant, you're at a supermarket, you're at a conference, and you're sitting next to someone or in a breakout room with somebody, and you have this vision, but you don't share it. What if the person sitting next to you is the one you need to meet for the universe to conspire in your favor and bring you together? So we go back to that piece that we are all here to play life together. Sharing your vision with as many people as possible will ensure that all the pieces that already exist will come to you. Now, I have one little caveat there. There are some people in your life who may not believe in your vision, who may poke holes in it and say, oh, there you go again, another harebrained scheme. Don't you think I come up with a lot of ideas? I'm a way out there visionary. So there are people in my life I don't share my big visions with, but I share them with people like you. And then we lift each other up and we rise. So to be the one, you must share your vision, and that helps you connect with the magic of this. Exhibiting exemplary behavior means basically be someone you'd be proud to hang around with. Think about people who are your role models, people you look up to. What are the character traits about them? Embody them, be that one. And then the letter O is to own your life with 100% responsibility, which means giving up blaming and complaining and really taking 100% ownership. So and that's where we're going to dive deep tonight, because when we get mad triggered, whether it's at politics, the economy, Dr. Fauci, whoever it is that you're getting mad at, or the person who didn't show up on time, You have 100% responsibility of how you want to be and respond in that moment. The letter N is to never, 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 never gossip. Because when you gossip about others, more often than not, the person you're gossiping to about someone else is thinking, geez, I wonder what she says about me when I'm not around. And a real simple way to live that one is something I adopted when my daughter was going for her communion and we were going through Lent, and I made a vow that I would never say something about someone that I wasn't willing to say to their face. And I have had people be in conversation with me and they say, oh, did you hear about, oh, wait, would I say that to their face? And they stop dead in their tracks. So it's simple and it just requires practice. And then the letter E is to exercise your mind and your spirit daily. Connect with spirit, connect with your passion, connect with your vision. So as I said, tonight we're going to go really, really deep into how to own your life with 100% responsibility so that you can feel more joy and more happiness. And isn't that what we all want? So I have a question, and then I'm going to put this question up, and then I'm going to come off, and I want to have you share a little bit. So what does cause all these upsets in our life? Where does the unhappiness come from, the frustration? What are some of the things that you're dealing with that cause this stress for you? Who's willing to share? I know we're in this space of beautiful love and everything, but let's be real, because if we don't clean out the crap, it's still there and you just cover it up with a pretty affirmation and it stinks. Pat Rogers, thank you. We can hear you, love. Come off mute. Almost.
Sometimes I think mine come from past experiences.
Past experiences, yeah. Well, and what types of aggravations? What are the things that trigger you and set you off? Let's take it from there. So
You're not gonna make me go in.
No, you don't have to go in. So let's just think about it. Sally, go ahead.
I'll get it rolling, Pat, and then you can jump on it. I hate it when people tell me what to do. And that really gets under my skin.
Yeah. People tell you what to do. How about the government? What's going on in the government?
That's maddening.
Right? That creates some triggers. COVID. Should we take the vaccine? Should we not? Right? Where's my stimulus check? Are we going to get the money? Are we not going to get the money? Oh, that client that said they were going to sign up and they didn't. I mean, there are aggravators everywhere.
Right. From little to big.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Somebody cut me off on the parking space, or my coffee's late.
Yeah. Right.
Or
and
whatever. Yeah.
And there's big ones. There's sickness, there's death. I mean, our life is made up of all of those things. And the key to owning your life with 100% responsibility is to be able to say, everything that happens, I'm responsible for. Now, that's why I'm going deep. I'm going in, Pat. I'm going in, like Pat says.
Going in.
So live it with Ho'oponopono and really accepting 100% responsibility for everything. What it means is every single thing I do contributes to the collective in some way. Everything I do contributes to the collective. And I'm going to use politics as an example right now. So I don't know whichever side you're on. That's not my business. And I love you and you get to choose. That's the country we live in. Isn't that great, right? But over the past 4 years, the president we had in office received the most egregious abuse, verbal abuse, constant, that I've ever seen happen. And you have been in circles, and again, whether you're that side of the party or the other side of the party, it doesn't matter, but I know you've been in circles. I can't believe he did this in the newspaper, blah, 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 blah. Every time we speak words, Even if I don't like the guy, it doesn't matter, right? Or if I love the guy, it doesn't matter. If I'm speaking poorly about someone or something, I'm contributing to the discord. One of the practices I have, which I got from the book, the Abundance book by John Randolph Price, is verbal harmlessness. So verbal harmlessness means I do my best to only say kind things about others and about myself, because our words have power. And imagine if you're upset and you're angry, and our energy field, and you all will get this, right? Our energy field is like walking around with a cup of hot, steaming coffee. And everywhere you go, you're bumping into people and burning them with your coffee, with your energy field. So it's my responsibility what I let out to other people. And if we want to heal the world, and I'm guessing, would you all like to see a more peaceful, loving, kinder world? Would you like that experience? Yeah, I would too. And as you know, Gandhi says, or Buddha, whoever it was, be the change. It's got to start with us. And if I don't take responsibility that when I curse out the guy that cut me off, I'm contributing to the negativity in the world, that's where 100% responsibility really comes in. And then here's the other place that it comes in, is if we are to believe and know, as is my belief, that we are all made of the same stuff, that the spirit of God, universe, source is the same spirit that's in me that gives me life, that's in the tree that gives me life, that's in every single one of us. And the same thing that's in me is also in you. So if I think, and I'm just going to say it straight up, if I think you're an asshole or an idiot, or you did something that was wrong, if I'm thinking that about you, it means there's something, the same type of thing that's in me. Sally.
Like mom used to say, when you point at somebody, how many fingers are pointing back at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just, yeah.
And so this prayer that I'm going to share with you in a few moments is about clearing what's in you that is causing any kind of friction to exist. So I taught this to a woman who was divorced. She was remarried, and she was at one of our events, and she was stressed out to the max. And she said, you know, my ex-husband, every single time we have to swap the kid, do the kid exchange, he's horrible. He berates me. He still talks to me like I'm a piece of dirt, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was angst for her to have to deal with this man. We can probably all relate to someone like that in our lives, or some type of experience. So I sat with her and I shared with her this prayer of Ho'oponopono. And she went home that night, came back to the event the next day, and she said, Nancy, you're not going to believe what happened. My ex-husband called, and it was a peaceful transfer of the kids, because she changed what was in her. The ripple effect happened. This is the power we really, truly have. So anytime there's something in us that's out of alignment with our highest source and connection to divine, that's what needs to be fixed. We're never going to fix somebody else. We can only fix ourselves. And by doing so, we add to the collective consciousness, all raising up. And that is our prime responsibility. Any questions? Okay, Kathy, you look like you got something. Do you know how to unmute?
There's a little down on the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Do you see that little red with a line through it? Click that. Type it in the chat. Well, let's see if I can do it over here.
She'll probably still need to do it herself. All right, when you find it, we'll talk. We'll talk.
You can also press and hold the space bar. That's the quick shortcut.
Oh yes, good one.
Thank you.
Hi, Kathy. Well done.
Hold
Oh,
it. Yeah, you have to hold it.
thank you. Thank you. I never use my computer. I'm always on my iPad.
Yeah,
So this is the first time I'm on my computer with Zoom. I was just revving up when you were talking about that because I'm a big believer in gratitude, and gratitude changed my life back years ago, practicing gratitude every morning. And so I changed that road rage with my husband, speaking into what you were saying, Nancy, because he gets so mad at getting cut off and be muttering, and I'm the only one that could hear him. The guy up ahead's gone. And so I started putting my hand on his shoulder and I go, oh, and he'd go, what? And I'd say, that person up ahead, they have to get to the hospital really fast. Their mom's dying. She's in the hospital. She's so ill. And he would start laughing at me. But you know, it's worked. I find he's way calmer when he's driving. It's not. So I just wanted to share that.
Good job. And it works. We are so powerful. And it works in the opposite direction, the other way too. If we are grousing and bitching and moaning and complaining, what are we going to get more of?
Yeah.
More of that happening for sure. Yeah, awesome. Great story. Thanks, Kathy. All right, let me go ahead because I know you want to learn the prayer. So what causes all those upsets? It's not the things at all. It's not the thing. It's how we think and feel about the thing. It's our emotions. So there's lots of, opportunities, courses on emotional mastery and things like that. And we always want to be continuously getting better at being response able, right? And here's the thing, I'm going to start to share a little bit about the woman who actually originated Ho'oponopono. It is most well known by Dr. Lin Hugh, and I'll tell you his story in a few minutes, but Morna Nalamaku Simeona is the one who took this ancient practice of Ho'oponopono. I mean, it went back centuries, and she updated it. And they used to only use it when two different tribes were having disagreements. And this is how they brought reconciliation, was through this practice of Ho'oponopono. And then she saw the power of it in these tribes and brought it into, modern days. I believe she started around 1940 or 50. She died in 1990s, I believe. And what she says as it relates to the way we respond and what happens is that we are the sum total of our experiences, which is to say that we are burdened by our pasts. When we experience stress or fear in our lives, if we would look carefully, we would find that the cause is actually a memory. It is the emotions which are tied to these memories which affect us now. And then the subconscious associates an action or a person in the present with something that happened in the past. When this occurs, emotions are activated and stress is produced. So keep in mind, anytime you feel angry or you see somebody who's angry, it's not the moment we're angry in. It's not the thing that's happening. Anger is just another mask for fear. We get angry because you're not going to do that to me again. No one's going to take my this away or that away because I'm afraid of something happening to me. Anger is really a mask of fear. So when we're in a situation where we get angry or we get upset at this person or that thing, it's triggering something in our subconscious mind tied to a fear that we have. And that would be an invitation I have for you to take this to a higher level of self-awareness. The next time you get upset, disappointed, dig a little deeper and just say, I wonder what memory, what emotion am I feeling right now? And the beautiful thing that I'm going to teach you about Ho'oponopono is you don't even have to get hooked on searching for what the story is. Identifying the emotion and wanting to feel better is all you need for Ho'oponopono to work. Identify the emotion and want to feel better. If you know the emotion is sad, upset, frustrated, hurt, disappointed, well, I don't like feeling like this. I'd like to feel love and self-respect and belonging again. You can do that with this prayer. So one of the things that I am vigilant to is being aware of my emotions. And this is the key to a happy, successful life, is knowing what your emotions are. So I have on the screen here an emotional scale, and Abraham Hicks talks about the emotional scale. David Hawkins talks about it. And notice that at the lower end, the lower vibration, there's a strong attraction there. So if you are feeling fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness, there's strong emotion around it, and you're probably attracting more of that. The key is to be able to recognize that emotion and consistently move it up. If you're feeling despair, you're probably not going to jump all the way to joy quickly. We actually have to work our way up the scale. But it begins by recognizing, what are my emotions? And you'll hear me use this phrase all the time. Am I feeling above the line or below the line? So anytime I'm feeling below the line, I want to get above the line. If I can get to contentment, well, then maybe I can tap into some hopefulness. So the key is to move out of those lower vibration emotions so you can change your experience. And by doing this, you get to work yourself back up the scale. And part of the reason that we want to stay present to what our emotions are and move up the scale is because at the higher end of the scale of the emotions, you have creativity, ideas, love, win-wins, and inspired action. So if I'm in that part of my brain that can access those emotions, no matter what problem that comes, I'll find a solution. But if I'm in these emotions of stuckness, angst, confusion, I'm not going to find no solution there to whatever it is that's happening. So the key is to move from to our super conscious, those higher thoughts that we have, from the subconscious. And what I want to share with you now is how the Ho'oponopono process works as it relates to our subconscious mind, conscious, super conscious, and then divine and infinite intelligence. So because this is a well-educated group, I presume that most of you know in your subconscious mind, that's where your fears, your beliefs are, your values are there, and also are your fears. Now there's good things in your subconscious mind. You know, we need to be kept safe. Our values are kept there, and our habits are there. But the subconscious mind runs the show. When those negative emotions kick in, you can't control what comes out of your mouth, and that's your conscious mind, right? When those emotions kick in, you haven't we all said things we wish we hadn't in the heat of the moment? So the subconscious mind tells the conscious mind what to do. The superconscious mind is the space, that higher part of us right before divinity. So what we want to be able to do is move from the subconscious mind, clearing out what's happening in our thoughts and our patterns, and send it back up to the divine. So let me show you how this works. In this Hawaiian process, the superconscious mind is referred to as the father, or Amakua. The conscious mind is referred to as the mother, or Uhani. And the subconscious mind is the child, or the Unahipili. And this piece is important because most of the fears and those memories and emotions that trigger us today were created when we were children. So many of us have a 5-year-old running the show. And the reason that this child is still running the show is we haven't acknowledged it. We haven't forgiven it. We haven't thanked it. We haven't released it of its burdens and sent those burdens back up to the divine. The way we do this is, let me make sure this is going, there you go. So we want to take those limiting thoughts and fears and judgments of others and release them and send them back up to the divine intelligence, so that when you clear out your negativity and your judgment of others, it allows the divine to fill you with inspiration. How many of you get what we would call downloads, divine ideas, beautiful things coming in? Those don't come to you when you're pissed off. They come to you when you've connected to spirit, when you've connected to source. They flood in, as a matter of fact, when you have stillness to hear. But think about a glass of water. Your vessel, this is your vessel leading up to the divine. All that negativity that you might have is like dirty water in the glass. You pour clean water into it, it's not going to taste good still. We got to clear out the dirty water so that the fresh water can come in. And that's what this prayer will do for you in those moments. So notice, and I refer to the conscious mind as opposed to our divine nature. And these are things that I pay attention to myself. Is my ego running the show, or my child, or my subconscious? If I'm finding things wrong, am I judging the situation? Am I judging others? Can't believe they don't do that. I told them 28 times, still doesn't take out the garbage. I mean, it's even things like that that tweak us. Feeling hurt, disappointed, all of those things. Wouldn't we all prefer to live on this side of the equation? Give me a yes, yes, yes in the chat. Wouldn't we all love that? I want to walk around and live my life feeling loved, being loving, trusting others, people trusting me, walking in faith with creativity and resourcefulness. That's the life I choose. Imagine if you had one of those magnet games that has all the words in it, and you, inside the box were these words. Which words would you pick to put on your refrigerator? This is the choice we have every day. So here is Ho'oponopono and Dr. Lynn. I don't know if I can say it. Ihaliaka, I did it. Ihaliaka Hulin is his name. So I'll explain the prayer step by step in a moment, but go ahead and jot it down. So it's called Ho'oponopono, and it's 4 sentences. It does not matter the order in which you say them. The intention behind them is what matters. And Dr. Lynn, for those who don't know, let me come off for a second, and then I'll share the rest of the prayer. Dr. Lynn was a psychiatrist in Hawaii, and he knew Morna and had trained with Morna, the one who created the system that we now use today. And he, had a private practice, and he ended up being hired to work in an institution for the criminally insane. And at this facility in Hawaii, it was violent. It was terrible. They would hire a psychiatrist and he would quit, and they would hire new security guards and they would quit. I mean, it was a revolving door because it was just so vile, and the inmates just weren't getting better. So they hired Dr. Lynn, and I believe it was within 2 or 3 years, all of the people there had so much improved that they shut down the facility. Dr. Lynn was asked, how did you do this after all these other people came in? Did you do special counseling with them? Did you have classes? Was it, restorative? What did you do? And he said, I never even saw them. I took their charts and I laid them out on my desk, and I prayed for the part of me that's also in them. And I said, dear God, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Please relieve and release whatever is in me that is the same substance that is in them. Every day, kept praying, kept praying. This is the power, and this is a true story. We can do this. We can heal the world when we take 100% responsibility and seek to truly be the change that we want to see in the world. Amazing story. You can look it up. And look it up. It's true. It's And even from the little bit, with Kathy sharing what I've shared, we can do this. We have evidence of it already. So jot down the 4 sentences. I'm assuming you already did that, and I'll put them up again. So step number 1 to use this in your daily life is having that awareness that you're feeling below the line. Step number 2, acknowledge the feeling and thought within you. So there's the low vibration feelings, frustration. There's a whole bunch of them we could tap into, right, my friends? Whole bunch of them. But if you're feeling a low vibration and below the line, it's about having awareness, acknowledging it. Oh, I'm feeling jealous. How come they get all those clients? I can't believe they got a speaking engagement. How come nobody's picking me? Like, that's real stuff we go through. I know, especially if you're scrolling through social media. Oh, I can't believe look at her. Who does she think she is? Come on, let's be real. We've all done it, right? Notice the low vibration. And remember, it's never about the other person or circumstance. It's about how you respond to it. Taking 100% responsibility allows you to transform it rather than becoming a victim to it. Step number 3 is use Ho'opono to clear and shift. And remember that you're speaking to source, divine, universe, and God about yourself, not the person or event. So let's say somebody wronged you. They stole from you even, right? Oh, dear God, I'm so sorry they stole from me. Please help them stop being a thief. No, it doesn't work that way. It's about us. It's always about us. So here's how I gave you some subtext. So, let's use a simple example because it happens in all areas of their life. Actually, I'm going to use a political. It doesn't matter which side you're on, whether you're a Democrat or Republican right now. There's lots of emotions around all of that. So I might say, I'm so sorry for having, thoughts about, about the presidency. Please forgive me for even having them in my mind and forgetting that I'm always taken care of and love is always available to me through you. Because most of the emotions and these memories are being triggered is some fear that's coming up. I'm not loved. I'm not liked. I won't have enough money. If you notice, most of the time you get triggered, it's going to be one of those things. And then you say, thank you for erasing these fears and thoughts from my mind. I love you for taking care of my mindset so I can allow more love and money to come to me, whatever your thing is, whatever it is that you need. All right, so just use these 4 sentences and please clear the feeling of jealousy in them. Please clear the feeling of not having enough. Please clear the feeling of not being worthy to charge what I'm worth. Please clear the fear in me because I don't want to pick up the phone because I don't want to bother people. Help me remember that you love me and you created me to be loved and be an agent of love. Like it works for everything. And then I want to share with you, and I'm not sure I've shared this with some of you that have seen this before, probably have. So this is another prayer from Morna. And this prayer is if you notice that, I'm always feeling not good enough. What does not good enough look like? I don't know. It's I eat too much, I drink too much. I don't make the phone calls. I'm procrastinating. I'm ashamed of something from my past. Whatever that thing is, this prayer will release it to its core. The instruction for this is you recite this prayer 4 times consecutively out loud. So it would be like this. Dear universe, God, the super, subconscious, and all those who care about me in spirit, please locate the origin of my feelings and thoughts of being unworthy, being not good enough. Take each and every level, layer, area, and aspect of my being to this origin. Analyze it and resolve it perfectly with God's truth. Come through all generations of time and eternity, healing every incident and its appendages based on the origin. Please do it according to God's will until I am at the present, filled with light and truth. God's peace and love, forgiveness for myself, for my incorrect perceptions, Forgiveness of every person, place, circumstance, and event that has contributed to these feelings and thoughts. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It's so good. It's so good. And this is really good if you've got something persistent that keeps showing up. Like if the same type of man keeps showing up in your life, or the same type of client who doesn't honor you and doesn't want to pay you, you know, that's unworthiness in you. That's not about the client. Why do I keep attracting clients that are broke? You know, it could be that. Why do I keep on, you know, attracting people who walk all over me and take, you know, don't respect my boundaries? Please remove whatever is in me that's creating this. And the reason I so love this process is you don't have to know and spend so much time trying to figure out what was the thing. How come when I was 7 years old? If through God, all things are possible. Anybody believe that? If we ask God to remove it, he will. God's not saying, oh no, you have to go through 6 years of therapy to figure it out first. We forget this powerful spirit, essence, being is here for us to be our best. So, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And let me tell you, I use this if I have a client, you know, I do lots of coaching. If one of my clients is either getting on my nerves, that's about me, it's not about them. If one of my clients is struggling in being successful, or there's something happening for them, I say, what part is in me? Please clean and clear it, because when I clear my field, everyone will benefit. And this concludes our Oponopono. Let's take some questions.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Yes. And oh my goodness, such great information. I love how simple it is and yet so powerful. So thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Nancy? And while you're unmuting yourself, this is going to kind of bring back a little bit, but you know, I've always found that when I'm looking for something that, how did you know that this was right for you? You know, there's so many opportunities out there. What made this resonate with you? How did you hear about it?
So I first heard about it a couple of years ago. Joe Vitale actually he had some special get certified in Ho'oponopono. I didn't even know what it was. It was $29 and I got like, I don't know, 10 videos, 20 videos, all these audios, and it sat in my computer for probably 6 months or so. And then I heard about it somewhere else and I was like, oh, I have that. And the thing that the reason that it so resonates with me is about taking 100% responsibility. That's the key for me. And because I was already teaching it and believing it, you know, through being the one, I can't be the one for somebody if I'm busy blaming and complaining about what's going on in my life or what somebody else did to me. When you claim 100% responsibility, this takes it to a whole nother level of 100% responsibility. And so that's why for me, it's easy.
Yeah, it is easy. And I love and that's also, I teach that, you know, being responsible for how you think and what you do. You're running your own life. You're making your own choices.
Right.
And you can't blame anything that's happened. Past is past. And yeah, that's stuff that may have shaped you to now, but if you don't want to be the past, you want to be your future. So be future focused, clear all that stuff from the past. And it shows up beautifully when we get those zings of, you know, those charges from people. You know, what do I need to clear? Oh, I'm perfect. No, something will come up. You know, oh, I got this now. Maybe not.
Yeah.
So it always shows up, and it's nice to have this tool.
Well, and going back to the triangle that I showed from those subconscious, conscious, superconscious to the divine,
Yeah.
I want this vessel to be a clear channel for the expression of the divine through me. That's my goal. My life is beautiful in flow and perfect, even when problems happen. When this is a clear channel for the expression of the divine, everything that is right and perfect happens. Everything that's right and perfect for me. Not to say there's not going to be difficulties or challenges, but it's always about looking at those in not why did this happen to me? Why did this happen for me? And even better than that is, who do I need to be in the face of this scenario? And that's what leadership is about. Who do I need to be in the face of this challenge?
Yeah.
So
I look at that like neutrality, looking at it with neutrality, and like Kathy said, look at it. Maybe the story that I'm telling in my head isn't the truth about that person that cut me off.
Correct. And so here's another yardstick that I use, and I've been teaching this one for years, is I say that our minds are folktale factories. Its job is to make stuff up. That's its job, is to see something happen and make up a story about it. Right? That's what it does. Yeah. So my yardstick is, if I make up a story that has me feel bad, I'm going to change the story.
Right.
I can't believe they didn't call me back. Oh, wow. Something must have happened.
Right. And when we think of even our past, something might have happened, and you talk to your sister about the story that you thought you remembered, they're going to have a different story that went with that exact same thing. So we can change our stories if we want to.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories about this thing is when my daughter was in high school. She was a senior, and we were driving home from school one day, and it was around prom. And she's like, Mom, and I owned a house by the beach. She goes, Mom, can I use your house for the prom party? And I was like, no way, you can't. And then I thought about it for a moment, and I was like, okay, your older brother, he can chaperone. You're going to go get in trouble somewhere. Better to be a place where you're not, I could control it somewhat. Yeah. And then I started reminiscing, and I said to her, I never went to prom, and I got a little sad. And she said, really? How come? And the words that came out of my mouth, and now this is 35 years later, were, because I was fat and unpopular. And she goes, well, I'm kind of chubby and don't have friends, but I'm going to prom. I was like, oh, so glad.
You did a good job, Mom.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When I said those words to myself, I then reflected when she said that, and I was like, well, in sophomore year, I switched high schools. I never really made friends in my junior year. And then I took English over the summer, never even had a senior year.
So there you go. So the truth was, when you thought about it, you weren't even there.
And so that ties into another thing that I'm going to be teaching on soon, called confirmation bias. So because I felt unworthy, I looked for anything that happened as evidence to confirm my truth. And we do that. So that's why my commitment, clear this channel. And if I remember the scale of emotions, anytime I'm below the line, I am not a clear channel. And my job, I'm forgot. I'm sorry. I don't even need to just bring me back home.
Yeah. So Nancy, I don't see anybody unmuting. If you have any questions, please, that was wonderful. Unmute yourselves so that if you have some questions, Kathy does.
Do the space bar again.
Yeah, I love that. I never knew that. That's good. Actually, it's not a question, Nancy. I'm just resonating with everything you're saying. And I use a technique, I love it. When I get a sad thought, a negative thought, I stop and out loud I go delete, delete. And then I look in my room and I find something beautiful to focus on, and I get excited that that was such a cherished thing. So yeah, that's what I do to elevate myself.
Good,
Yeah.
good, good, good. I guess you're glad I'll be on your summit, right?
I am so excited because it's on fear, slaying the dragons of fear. So Nancy, you're ideal.
Okay, I guess this is what I'll talk about.
That's super. Anybody else have anything? Thank you, Kathy, for sharing that. Anybody else? Alfie,
Yeah,
you have something?
quick question. Yeah, so when you do this, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I mean, do you find yourself doing it daily, or is it more just in the moment when something kind of triggers you?
So there are some days I do it all day long. It's real, like, and so let me say, I am fortunate to be in business with my two sisters, and we get along for the most part, but you got three women running a business together, and we have different opinions on things. So when I say, hey, let's do this, and somebody says, no, that's not a good idea. Now notice, she didn't say it in that tone of voice. That's the tone of voice I hear it in, right?
Yeah, yeah, okay.
So I like, oops, I got tweaked. I love you. Please clear me. And then there are other days where, maybe I don't use it.
Do you do the whole, I mean, do you always do it, or sometimes you do the shortened version where I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, or do you always stop and acknowledge what it is that you're sorry for, or what you're asking to be forgiven of?
So I do it quick. So if I'm feeling, disappointed or irritated, I can't believe that, this client did this or this thing happened. I just notice as quickly as possible, and I just say please release whatever's in me causing this stress. Like, you don't always have to name it.
Yeah, okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Enjoy.
Yeah, and Nancy, you have a way that people can, you have an offer for everybody tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so if you'd like the 6 principles of the One Philosophy, I do have the new book coming out on the same day as Pat's event, February 25th, where I'll be speaking. Yay. You can go to either Nancy Matthews or the One Philosophy, and there's all kinds of great things for you there. So please do follow me. I'm on Facebook mostly, and I'm very Googleable, I like to say.
So that's nancymatthews.com or theonephilosophy.com.
Yes, thank you so much.
Perfect, perfect. Did you have something to add? Thank you, Nancy. Do you have something to add, Pat? I see you off mute.
Oh yeah, just that Nancy will be speaking for us. Nancy, I'm gonna tell you, I got a download. I need you to speak about this. Yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. But yeah. Well, we would love for you all to buy some tickets, of course, to come to the event. We have over 70 people coming. I'm asking God for at least 99. When she talked about Ho'oponopono and just the things that we underestimate ourselves for, I always start off, well, Lord, just give me 25. And it's all the feelings of fear and people not showing up, or people not getting what I want. So I am in that space today, and I'm not just gonna say 2021, but it is what it is. Just for today, I'm in that space. I'm asking for what I deserve. Whether I get it or not, I deserve it because I work real hard. So I'm telling you, I didn't know what this session was about, but I needed to hear this tonight.
Oh,
I needed a refreshing, and we call it in church a new anointing.
Yes.
And I'm just grateful and so glad I came. I just thank you for that, Nancy. And I have my prayer right over here on my little stand. I'm not going to tell no story. I don't read it as much as I should because sometimes I just go through the drama. But you know what? God always put it in front of me. He said, you forgot about that.
I love it. And that's what I forget sometimes too.
So I didn't know I was going to be beat tonight. You know what I'm saying? Beat. But yeah, I was convicted. I'm convicted because truly the word of God is true all day long. And everything you said, we just stop long enough to breathe and just let him take our problems and all that good stuff, all that bad stuff that we think is good. That is bad. So I'm just grateful that I came tonight. I'm really happy.
So
I'm happy I came. I needed this, man. I feel like I have worked out, and I feel like a ton of stress is lifted off me. The only one thing I want to say that's funny, I'm gonna make y'all laugh, is when you was talking and you were saying how you and your sisters went out, you're talking about things. It brought back to me when I'm talking about a situation and I'm trying to work it out with the person. You're talking about, okay, let's talk about it. And we're talking about it to solve a problem. What came back to my mind, I said, yeah. And then when you said a person hears what they want to hear, they heard that's what they heard. And my daughter has done that to me too. And she said, Mama, and you said this, and you came in the room and you just said, Monica, I need you to do this. We already talking, trying to work something out. And when she says something like that, or somebody tell me, you said it, and this is how you said that, I say, I ain't said, and it starts a whole nother chaos.
Right. So, and we've all
thought that was funny. Sometimes you gotta laugh at
these
yourself.
things, and so here's what I do in those. Here's what to look for. If she's expressing, still feeling frustrated and anger, she just hasn't got all her stuff out yet. And clearly you hadn't either. Right?
Yeah.
That's all. It's like if somebody wants to have a fight with you and you just say, go like this, they don't feel satisfied.
Yeah.
No?
I like that.
Yeah. Nikki, what did you put in the
So-
chat?
I was gonna. Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Alva Mary. And
I was
then-
just gonna follow up. Yeah. So if they're not satisfied, they want to fight. What do you do?
I be love.
Okay.
I be love. I one of my other core tenets is I believe that every single person that's put in my path is placed there so I can be more like God. And it's not always, I get some interesting people in my path.
Yeah. So that would, because I think the issue was that they didn't feel satisfied, but you think with that feeling of love, it would disintegrate that anger or that will to fight.
Right. Because and remember, if they're fighting, underneath it is some fear. So if you're fighting with, a spouse, for example, and maybe they fear they're going to lose their manhood, their virility. There's underneath anger is fear. And if
that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So noticing in ourselves, if I'm angry, well, what is it that I'm really afraid of? And quite frankly, and unfortunately, most of us, all of these roots go back to, I don't think I'm good enough or I'm not worthy. I don't know why, but.
Right. Yeah. That's great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're most welcome. It's nice to meet you tonight. Nikki, did you want to share before we wrap? I know we're going over a few minutes.
I just shared that I have an anger that flares and I don't know why, and it just kind of bubbles up and it sits in my chest. I've worked a lot on it, and your comment that under anger is fear. So I thought, okay, I can look for that.
Yeah. And you could also ask God to release whatever in me is causing this anger. And maybe, the anger bubbling, I would do the longer prayer that I showed. I would do that longer prayer 4 times out loud. It will be amazing. I had a major challenge with somebody about a year ago, and I was feeling all torn up inside. Why is it that? And then I did the prayer and the relationship resolved.
Okay. Been very enlightening tonight. Thank you.
Welcome. Another side of Nancy, but you probably knew I had this side.
I look terrible.
It's all out there. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you for the extra time you gave us as well.
I think
Really,
Denny
really appreciate it.
Denny, did you want to add something?
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, I couldn't get that second prayer down quickly enough. Where can I get that?
You want
Longer
me to
one.
say it?
In the replay?
Yeah, it'll be in the replay.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, you'll get it in your inbox.
So glad there's a replay. Great.
So no worries, it'll be
Okay.
there.
Thanks. It was wonderful.
Yeah, and you guys already, a lot of you already know how to contact Nancy, and you can get her at nancymatthews.com or theonephilosophy.com. Reach out to her there. Nancy Matthews on Facebook is a good place as well. So there you have that. And I just want to send out that if you go to yourblissfuljourney.com/membership, you'll learn a little bit more about some of the behind the scenes things that we do besides these calls. So I'd love to see you there as well. And it's wonderful to see new faces and some familiar ones too. So thank you, friends, for showing up. Thank you again, Nancy, very, very much for this. It's been a pleasure. Y'all have a great night.
Namaste.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Night all.
Bye.
Wait, Sally, I got to give you a ticket for hosting this event tonight because my soul has been blessed to the point of tears. I did not know what God was going to do with me tonight. I just came. I just made purpose to come. And last night, I almost got on the platform too early.
You did. She was so ready to come, Nancy, that she,
Yeah,
she
I'm just
signed in
grateful.
last night. She was going to hang out for like 2 days. One of those campers, the people that camp out early at the event.
So I'd like to
Thank
give you a
you,
ticket
Pat.
for offering this platform tonight. And I'd like to just, honor you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Graciously accepted. Thank you so, so much. Appreciate it.
Love y'all.
All right. Bye. Love you. Thank you,
Thanks,
Sally.
Nancy. Bye now.